Good morning, and welcome to the Unitarian Coastal Fellowship. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Congratulations to everyone who remembered to wear green today. As Unitarian Universalists, we declare that every person has the right to flourish with inherent dignity and worthiness, regardless of age, race, national origin, sexual orientation, gender identity, criminal background, ability, or class. We honor the interdependent web of all existence and acknowledge our place in the great web of life. Also, Ramadan Mubarak to our Muslim friends and family members. Right now is Ramadan, a time of fasting and holiness. I am the interim minister here, the Reverend Micah C. Ma, and my pronouns are they, them, and theirs. With me today are Worship Associate Marilyn Cullison, Choir Director Tom Cullison, accompanist Megan Smith, and Children and Family Ministries Administrator Sarah Grenier, waving from back there. Looks like we have Barb and Susan on tech today, making things go for the folks on Zoom. Zoom is up there. That's where the camera is. Give them a wave. Hello. We will find out who you are soon. Do we have any visitors in the sanctuary today? Please raise your hand if this is your first time here. Okay, we got this row over here. Would any of you like to introduce yourselves? Okay, all right. Wait for someone to bring you the microphone because Zoom can't hear you if you're not. Whoops. Because Zoom can't. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. You can stand up if you want. It's up to you. Just use the mic.
Good morning. My name is Thea. I live in New Bern, and I attend the UU Fellowship there.
Yay.
Good morning. I'm Tammy. I am from New Bern, and I also attend the fellowship there as well.
Good morning. I'm Gail. I recently moved to Moorhead from New Bern, so maybe coming back here.
Welcome. Okay. All right. Was there anyone else who wanted to introduce themselves today? Okay. All right. And I'm going to bring this microphone over to Barb so that she can tell us who is on Zoom today.
Okay, on Zoom today we have Happy Eubank, Carrie Matheson, and maybe Dave. It says Carrie, but he might be there. Kay and Daryl Lynch, and Todd Kellison.
Aw, yay! So glad y'all could join us. All right, that's a lot of running around. So, some announcements today. Marilyn, will you move the squirrel, please? You may notice there's a tree with a squirrel on it trying frantically to get to a $155,000 acorn. That's this year's stewardship goal. So far, we have raised $72,617 of our $155,000 goal. So our squirrel moves a skosh. Oh, they're getting up into the branches now. Excellent. Please continue to encourage our squirrel. Remember that every dollar you pledge doesn't just go toward, keeping the lights on or things like that. It also supports the mission and vision of this congregation. And if you need a reminder of what that mission and vision is, come up, read what everyone has written on the leaves of the tree, and if there's a leaf that you'd like to leave up there, a hope or dream that you have for this congregation or something that this congregation does for you, there are more leaves down there and a pen, so please feel free to fill out our tree as much as you want. Quick reminder, we are having UU 101 today. That is the third part of our 3-part membership class, and we will be learning about the Unitarian Universalist Association and other national UU groups and campaigns. Penny Hooper?
Just wanted to mention we'll have hot soup and soda drink to celebrate St. Patrick's Day.
Ooh, St. Patrick's themed refreshments at our new member class. We will be meeting in room 7 in the Sally B. White Center after the service. All are welcome. And also, we've known since the beginning of my time here that I am the interim minister and my time ends in July. The search committee is thrilled to announce the next full-time contract minister, Leslie Runnels, who will begin in August. Can we bring up her picture again real quick? Sorry to surprise the slides. Links to Leslie's hello message to UCF and her ministerial overview are in the email newsletter, The Wave, also on the bulletin board in the social hall. Please read them and plan to join the board and the search committee after the worship service next week, so that's next Sunday, 7 days from now, to hear an update and ask questions. Will the search committee raise their hands, search committee members who are here? Yes, they extend their sincere gratitude for your trust, feedback, and suggestions that you provided to guide the search. And last announcement, we will be having afterwards in the sanctuary today, after the service. That's words as in the words that we speak. Afterwards is a time after the service when we gather to share what the message meant to us. And now, I invite everyone in the sanctuary to please silence your cell phones and all those on Zoom to turn off your cameras to conserve bandwidth. And once you're done with that, I invite everyone to turn and greet your neighbor. Say hello to someone you know, or better yet, someone you don't know. Beloveds, we gather today in the spirit of wonder. Who are we? Where are we going? Why are we here? What is the purpose of all of these feelings and emotions? How do we make meaning out of the things that happen to us? What is real and what is false? What do we need to pay attention to, and what can we let go of? These are the questions we often ask ourselves, and these are the questions to which we seek the answers in community. I invite the people to repeat after me. Come, let us worship together. And I invite Marilyn to read our chalice lighting words while I light our chalice, the symbol of our shared Unitarian Universalist faith.
O flaming chalice, symbol of a free faith, burn with the holy oil of helpfulness and service. Spread warmth and light and hope, warm hearts grown cold with indifference, light dark places with justice, rekindle hope in despair. May we bring fuel for thy fire of love. May the oil of loving kindness flow from us to thy leaping flame. May hands of responsibility shelter thee, that no winds of hate may extinguish thy brightness. May thy light and warmth be eternal. May we be keepers of thy flame. And thank you, Joan, for lighting the correct candle. I tried to light the peace candle earlier, but now we light our peace candle to remind ourselves that peace is a process that requires work, that peace is not merely an absence of conflict, but the presence of justice. And now I invite you to stand as you're willing and able for our opening hymn, number 123, Spirit of Life.
Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea.
All right, for this next part, can I get some assistance from Sarah Grenier? Where is my faithful assistant? Here she comes. Ooh, with additional assistance. All right, so Sarah's got some money with her, and we're looking for a few volunteers who would like to receive some money. Raise your hand, or come up. You can also just come up. Oh, Payson would like some money. Look. Yeah, coming up if you want some money. We can give Sarah a break. She runs around enough. Anybody else? Yeah, all right. Adam's going to take some. And oh, Wes would like some. Okay, she'll be back over there. All right, yeah, Wes over here has his hand up. Yeah, we have $3 more. I know, everybody's got loans. Yeah, all right, any last takers? One last taker. All right, Alan's taking the last one. All right, so each of you has gotten some money. Can anyone read what it says on the back?
The buck stops here.
It says the buck stops here. That's right. Has anyone heard that phrase before?
Yes.
Yes. Does anyone know where it comes from? Oh, I heard the name Harry Truman. Yep, that is a quote that one of our former presidents, Harry S. Truman, had on a sign on his desk. Now, has anyone ever heard the phrase, pass the buck? Yes. Okay. So passing the buck means you pass responsibility onto someone else, or you pass the blame onto someone else. So for instance, if you get a bad grade on your test or something, or you fail your driving test, it might be tempting to blame your teacher, or blame the sun for being too bright, or the roads for being confusing. But at the end of the day, you were the one who had to pass that driving test, right? And you have to take responsibility for it in some way. Maybe you need more practice, or maybe you need more help somehow. Maybe you need to find a different teacher. Maybe you just need to practice more. Maybe you need some kind of testing accommodations. Maybe you need new glasses to help you see better, but that's something that you are the one who has to figure that out. So President Truman had that sign, "Buck stops here," on his desk to remind him and everyone else that because he was the president of the United States, he was the top dog, the head honcho, the buck stopped with him. There was no one for him to pass the buck on to. He couldn't blame his vice president, right, or anything like that, because he was the leader. So at some point in our lives, all of us have to make the decision to have the buck stop here, to say, you know what, I'm the one who's going to take responsibility. I'm the one who's going to make this decision and stick with it and live with it. So y'all can go ahead and hang on to your reminder. You can keep it in your wallet, keep it in your pocket, stick it up on your mirror, whatever, to remind you that the buck stops with you. Thank you, everyone, and thank you, Sarah and Alan. All right, and now, each week, we make some space and time to simply be human together. We sing together, laugh together, weep together, and speak out loud as well as into our hearts the things that we are carrying. So in a moment when the music begins that Megan is going to give us, I invite everyone to rise as they're able and willing and line up against the far wall over here to the left by the triptych and come around to the front to where we have this basket of beautiful shells and stones and sea glass. And you can take as many or as few as represent what you carry on your heart today and leave it in the beautiful glass chalice of water. If you have a personal joy or concern that you would like me to read aloud to the congregation, something going on in your life that you would like me to share, you can write it on one of the slips of paper there, leave it in the basket, and I will read it aloud after I have read our community and world joys and concerns. This stone is for the war in Gaza, which has been going on for 6 months now, or close to it. We hold in our hearts the residents of Gaza who are without food, water, or medicine. We hold in our hearts the residents of Israel who do not want to be at war but feel helpless to stop it. We call for an immediate ceasefire. Let all hearts be softened, and let humility enter all of our hearts so that we can find a way forward into peace. This stone is for Sue Ellen Leonard, who many of us know passed away last weekend following a car accident in Morehead City. We hold the Leonard family in our hearts. Sue Ellen's funeral is this Saturday, the 23rd, at 2 p.m. at Glad Tidings Church in Morehead City. And our own dear member, Mary Anna Newman, who is in hospice at Crystal Coast Hospice House, is now on comfort care and asks for no more visitors. We love you, Mariana. There is a card in the social hall where people can write a note to Mariana, which I will deliver to her this afternoon. I invite everyone to please join me in the spirit of prayer. To that great spirit in the universe, that which moves within and among us, which we call by many names and perhaps has no name at all. It is something that we may feel some of the time, or all of the time, or none of the time. Spring comes in fits and starts, as it often does. One day it's warm, the next it's cold. It may start out foggy, and then the fog burns away into the sun. As the seasons turn, let it remind us that whatever is happening in our lives today, this too shall pass. Our joys pass, our sorrows pass. Our lives come with seasons, seasons of planting and growing, seasons of tilling, seasons of lying fallow, putting things in store. This too shall pass. It is the natural cycle of not only the seasons, but our lives. And so when we do not know where to turn, let us turn to the world. Let us turn to nature. Let us look to the earth and her seasons for guidance on how we should be living our lives. Let us remember that we are always part of something larger than ourselves. And though we may not know what this is for, maybe someday we will find out. Or maybe it is not for us to know. It is for something greater than us to know. Let's take in one deep breath together. And out. And remember that this breath connects us to all beings that share this earth. Amen, and blessed be. And now we sing out our little ones to the Sally B. White Center with a song. It's a blessing you were born, and it matters what you do. What you know about God is a piece of the truth. Let the beauty you love be what you do, and you don't have to do it alone. It's a blessing I was born, and it matters what I do. What I know about God is a piece of the truth. Let the beauty I love be what I do, when I don't have to do it alone. It's a blessing we were born, and it matters what we do. What we know about God is a piece of the truth. Let the beauty we love be what we do, and we don't have to do it alone. Okay. And now I invite everyone into a moment of silent contemplation. And now I invite Karen Baggett to come up and tell us what UCF means to her.
I don't know where my notes are. No? Nope. Okay, here I am. Okay. When I started coming to UCF, we were meeting in the Webb Library downtown. It was 1986. I had been without a church for 20 years. Stopped attending the Methodist Church my first year in college. And I was invited by my new neighbors, Ann and Ted Odell, to start coming to services. And with my background, I guess, in Protestantism, some of the service felt familiar, and yet I felt free. I didn't feel the restrictions that I'd felt before. So I continued to attend, participate in music, I think I became the president within like a couple of years after I joined. I joined in 1988, February 1988. Went to a leadership institute, learned exactly what I needed to know. So over the years, I've participated just in small groups. I've participated in committees. I've been on the board. I've been doing music. I help with coffee hour, et cetera, et cetera. I help people. I give rides to people. I take food to people. And it's not just what I do, it's what we do. That is what we do. We do the committees. We do the conversation. We help each other. We're here for each other. And that's what's most important to me. So in addition to my pledge, my financial support, I sometimes contribute to the auction. I wasn't able to be here this year, so I brought peace mugs that are for sale in the social hall. And sometimes I might find a deal on something, and contribute it to the church. So really fancy tech equipment. Oh, and I just found my notes. Got a real deal. Only $2.99 at the Salvation Army. So, those are other ways that I contribute. I'm not sure if we'll be able to put these to use, Barb, but what the heck. I couldn't pass them up. And on the day that I found them, I was wearing purple. I mean, it was perfect. It was perfect. So as far as financial support, we all know we have a beautiful building. We have wonderful staff. We can do so much more in this building than we were ever able to do before. And over the years, I've been able to increase my pledge. And being a math teacher, sometimes I divide it by 52 and figure out how much I'm giving to be here on a Sunday. So anyway, I do have my pledge card with me, and I'm going to drop it in the thing and deliver these to Barb. Thank you.
That's right. Thank you so much, Karen. And it's a really great segue, actually, into my message today. That totally unplanned. So this starts with a story, as many things do. So once upon a time, when I was still living in the San Francisco Bay Area, I went to a concert, and this was not a concert in some big arena or anything. It was a concert in a big square room that's maybe the size of this church if that wall was open. And there were lots of chairs in rows, and there was a stage on one end. So not a fancy venue by any means. And during intermission, I don't know if that's what they call it during a concert, but the opener had finished and the band hadn't come on yet, and everybody went to get a beer. This venue did serve beer. And someone must have placed a full pint of beer under their chair, and it got knocked over because there was suddenly this giant puddle of beer spreading across the floor. And then there were like 30 or 40 people standing around, staring at this giant puddle of beer spreading across the floor. And, we all stood around for a little bit, and finally I turned to someone and I said, has anyone, told the staff that we could use a mop or something, right? And she said, yeah, I told that guy over there, but he didn't do anything. And I was like, well, that seems kind of strange. So I went to find a staff person and realized that they were all busy because it was intermission and they were all selling beer. So nobody could clean up this mess right now, And I was like, okay, well, clearly no help is coming from that direction. So I went to the bathroom and I got like every single paper towel that I could physically carry in my arms from the paper towel dispenser. And I brought it out to the floor and I started cleaning up the beer. And suddenly, people are moving. Suddenly, people are like, oh, thank you so much. Suddenly, people are like, oh, you're a saint. And I'm like, I am not a saint. I am not doing anything here that any of you could not have done if you had done it, Like, you were all physically capable of doing this. It's just that for some reason, I'm the person. Also, then nobody helped. Like, once they saw me cleaning up the beer, they were just like, oh, you got it. And they just like, walked away. And I was like, hey! Anyway, so that happened ages ago, like maybe 10 years ago, maybe more than that. And I think about it often, and I bring it up often, actually, as a sort of puzzle that I ask people. I ask them, what do you think was going on? Why didn't anyone do anything? Why was I the only one who did something? What was maybe different about me than the other people there? Any of whom could have done something, but did not. So I've told this story to a lot of people over the years and asked them to speculate on what was happening. And the most insightful response, I think, came from one of my friends who said, well, what you did, it wasn't your job. Oh, it wasn't my job. It wasn't my job. I didn't work for the venue. I did not have any kind of uniform on that proclaimed me to be some kind of universal cleaner-upper of spills. It wasn't even my beer that spilled. I was just the person who assumed responsibility for the spill, even though I did not have to, because it was not my job. But the way that I see the world, if there is a problem in front of me that it is in my power to fix, then it is my job. If I see a piece of trash on the beach, I will pick it up. I have been that person who has, in fact, gotten out of their car to drag a tarp out of the middle of the road. It was raining, it had been wet, it was very gross. I was like, oh, it's wet. Now, sometimes things do seem too big or dangerous for me to take on, which is when I will call I'll call someone else for whom it is their job to do that. One time, I was walking around downtown Oakland, and I saw what appeared to be smoke coming out of the Federal Building. And nobody was acting like this was a problem. Like, people were walking around, people were coming out of the building, not in an evacuation kind of way, but in a I'm leaving work for the day kind of way. And I stopped one of them and I asked her, is that smoke coming from the building? And she looked and she was like, oh, maybe that's why all the power went out on the 14th floor. And I said, I'm going to call 911. And I did, and the dispatcher said, oh my God, we are going to send someone right away. So this is what is called diffusion of responsibility. When there are too many people around, actually, that can be a hindrance. Because If there's too many people around and there's nobody to organize them, everybody thinks, oh, someone else will get that. But the problem is that everyone thinks that someone else is going to get that, then what happens? Nobody does anything. So we need to cultivate this mentality that making the world a better place is all of our jobs. Nobody else is going to do it. Not the government, not the aliens in outer space, not all the saints in heaven, us. We are the ones that we have been waiting for. And we can fix the world in small ways. I'm not saying that, you have to, recreate the entire civil rights movement, although if you have ideas for that, I am open, I'm available. But we can fix the world in small ways. You can donate food, you can volunteer at the animal shelter, you can help the little baby sea turtles, you can pick up trash on the beach. One of my friends, who is a much better person than me, carries around plastic bags and picks up other people's dog poop. Like I said, much better person than me. So those are small, easy, approachable ways to make the world a better place, right? So then what about the big problems? What about things like gun violence, climate change, reproductive justice, systemic racism, homelessness? Those problems are bigger and messier and harder to solve. Picking up trash on the beach is easy compared to trying to solve climate change, because climate change is not a problem that can be solved by individuals. It's a systemic problem that needs to be solved on a large scale. So with problems like that, where do you even start, right? And you can start, everything starts with small things. So you start first by finding people to join you, people who agree that this is a problem that needs to be fixed. Honestly, one of the things that I could have done with that big puddle of beer was I could have handed out paper towels to everyone and just been like, hey, thanks for helping me clean up this spill, right? And they probably would have helped, because actually people like being helpful. And I think we all clearly agreed that the giant puddle of beer on the floor was a problem that needed to be addressed, right? So if you see a big problem, one you can't solve by yourself, like climate change or homelessness or gun violence, the first step is always to gather people around you, people who also want to solve climate change or homelessness or gun violence. And so now that you have a group, you can start doing things as a group. A group doing things is much more effective than an individual doing things. If I had handed out paper towels to everyone and told them to help me, that puddle of beer would have gotten cleaned up much faster, right? One person speaking out at a school board meeting about whatever, you have your choice, banning books with positive LGBTQ representation, is one thing. One person can be written off as a crackpot, right? If you bring a dozen people to a school board meeting, that becomes a different issue. Same goes for city council meetings with your senator or representative, or really any kind of change you want to make in the world. So this is what's called grassroots organizing, right? Grassroots organizing has been around for decades. It's been very, very effective. Saul Alinsky wrote the book on it. Saul Alinsky was also the Ware lecturer at the Unitarian Universalist General Assembly in 1960-something. And it's effective. It's effective, especially organizing at the local level. That is the quickest and most effective way to make change in your immediate community. Don't wait for things to trickle on down from up above, because it's probably not gonna. If there's a change you want to see in your local area, get a group of people together and make it happen. And a faith community is a great place to get started. Like Karen said, it's what we do. Something like the Unitarian Coastal Fellowship is a ready-made community. It's full of people that you already know, maybe, unless it's your first time here, in which case you don't know anybody yet, but you will. But it's full of people that you know, and it's full of people that you know may already care about the same things that you care about. So you can ask around. Even just getting things done within the faith community is a great place to practice organizing. If you don't feel up to organizing some kind of parent group to speak up at school board meetings, you can start by just getting things done around church. The sun's coming out, it's getting warmer. I think I'm starting to see dandelions and other weeds out there. And one person can probably take care of it in the morning, but a group is more effective. So you can ask around at church and see who else is bothered by the weeds. Just go around and be like, hey, do those weeds bug you too, And then, decide 5 of us are going to meet here. We'll clean the place up. And then afterwards, you go out for lunch. You can go over to the bank's grill. This is not a paid advertisement. You can go over to someone's house for a glass of iced tea. And now you've also made friends. You've built community. These things can be fun. So let's say you want to start a new group here to meet on an ongoing basis. Maybe a men's group, or a grief group, or a parenting group, or a D&D group. We can probably make that happen. You can talk to me, you can talk to a board member, you can talk to the leadership council. And in the process, you learn a lot about how to make things happen within an organization, within an institution. You learn how to organize a group, you learn how to gather support, you learn how to make something sustainable, you learn how to facilitate a meeting. Never too old or too young to learn a new skill, and certainly never too old or too young to teach a skill. Because some of you already know how to do this, you've been doing it for decades. You're like, I'm tired, I put in my however many decades of doing the work, but you know what? I can tell someone else how to do the work, and that's great. But you are the only one who can make a difference in the world around you. So why is this important now? Why do I bring this up now? It's a presidential election year. And it's probably going to be a total circus. It's probably going to get ugly. I think there's a very reasonable probability that it's going to get ugly. So if you've been looking for a reason to act, a time to act, now is the time. November 2024 is not the time to organize. Now is the time to organize, to keep ourselves and to keep each other safe. You can get in touch with the National UU the Vote campaign or with UU Justice North Carolina and learn what's being done in North Carolina. You can take a de-escalation training. They're offering more of them online now. You can volunteer to work the polls. We always need more poll workers. You can attend Board of Elections meetings. I hear they need sane, level-headed people there. And do it with company. This room is full of people who, unless I'm very much mistaken, want to heal this world. Right?
Right.
Yes, right. And it starts with us. It starts here.
Buck stops here.
The buck stops here, exactly. We are those healers. Because let me be clear, nobody is coming to save us. We are the ones who must save ourselves. And we will. We absolutely will. 1 inch at a time, 1 person at a time, we will save ourselves. It has been done in the past, it will be done in the future. We will save ourselves. I invite everyone to remain seated for our next hymn, Answering the Call of Love.
Faith, hope, and love abide, and so every soul is blessed and made whole. The truth in our hearts is our guide. We are answering the call of love. Hands joined together, our hearts beat as one, emboldened by faith, we dare to proclaim. We are answering the call of love. Sometimes we build a barrier to keep love tightly bound, corrupted by fear, unwilling to hear, denying the beauty we found. We are answering the call of love. Hands joined together as hearts beat as one, emboldened by faith, we dare to proclaim. We are answering the call of love. A bright new day is dawning, when love will not divide.
Every month, we share the plate with a different charity or a nonprofit organization, meaning that half of everything that goes into the offering plate that isn't a pledge is shared with that charity or nonprofit. So this month, we're sharing the plate with Misplaced Mutts, a nonprofit, volunteer-based organization dedicated to rescuing dogs and cats in shelters and less than ideal home situations throughout North Carolina. I invite the greeters forward to collect today's offering. Thank you for your generous offering. Please join us in blessing this offering with hymn number 402, From You I Receive, and we'll sing it twice.
From you I receive, to you I give, together I share, and from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live.
We extinguish our chalice this morning. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. And now in Español, extinguimos esa llama, pero no la luz de la verdad, o calor de comunidad, no el fuego de nuestro compromiso.
Estos los llevaremos al corazón hasta que estemos juntos otra vez.
And we invite everyone who's able and willing to please rise for the closing hymn. It's number 298 and the gray hymnal, Wake Now My Senses.
A good Irish tune on St. Patrick's Day, yeah? Wake now my senses and hear the earth call. Feel the deep power of being in all. Keep with the web of creation your vow. Giving, receiving as love shows us how. Wake now my reason, give out to the new. Join with each pilgrim who quests for the clue. Honor the beauty and wisdom of time. Suffer thy limit and praise the sublime. Wake now, compassion, give heed to the cry. Voices of suffering fill the wide sky. Take as your neighbor, most stranger and friend, praying and striving their hardship with justice my guide. Join with all people whose rights are denied. Take not for granted a privileged place. God's love embraces the whole human race. Make now my vision of ministry clear. Brighten the pathway with radiance here. Mingle my calling with all who will share. Work toward a planet transformed by our care.
All right, friends, it is our tradition in this congregation to hold hands for the benediction. So I invite everyone who wants to hold hands. If you do not wish to hold hands, you can move to the center of the amoeba or banana or whatever shape we're making today so that you can be held in the circle without having to hold hands. Yeah. I know. Yes. It feels like we're making this shape of a state. Have we made the shape of North Carolina? Maybe we have. Anyhow. All right, friends. The buck stops here. It is our responsibility to make the world that we want to see, and those can be in large ways and small ways, but remember that it is best to do it with company, because that is how we make the really, 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 really big change. Amen and blessed be. Go in peace. Amen. Rhode Island.